Welcome to the Project Network Micro Learning Series. My name is Aaron Miller, and today we are going to talk about branding, something we typically don't talk about enough, I think, in the skilled trades industry, and the importance of branding as a part of a marketing strategy. So in today's micro learning series, we'll keep this information broken down into sort of bite sized pieces, maybe about 3 to 5 minute sessions, and this may get broken up into a few different sessions. But happy to be here and to speak to you on this particular topic, which is really important to me. So I'm the founder of a company called Hummingbird Hill Homes. We are a custom home builder, and certainly have been lucky enough to be recognized for a number of builds that we've executed. But we've also been recognized for our branding on a number of platforms and podcasts, etc. So I was lucky enough to be asked to present on this particular topic as it relates to the skilled trades industry. So let's jump into it. So branding, why is it important? As you see both the Nike logo and the Patagonia logos, I'm sure they just in looking at them can sort of emit certain emotions or kind of connotation with what those brands represent for you specifically. So why is branding important? Obviously, it builds recognition, trust, an emotional connection with customers. It sets you apart from your competitors, builds loyalty, attracts talent, and directly impact company value and market share. All of which we'll kind of get into very briefly. But what most skilled trades individuals don't realize is branding is a systematic process you should go through to really understand what you bring to the table and what your differential advantage is for who wants or needs your product or service. And by differential advantage, I mean, really setting yourself apart in many different ways, but also thinking through and creating why is there an advantage for someone to hire you versus your competitors out there. And branding plays a key role, but this is a process that I think is should be done in a very systematic way. So in my experience, I've sort of, and as when I developed the Hummingbird Hill brand, I kind of went through this step by step and thought I would share kind of what's worked for me. So the first step is really kind of taking the time to define what's your mission statement. And a mission statement, as you can see here, is what is your core purpose as a company. I think you got to start there first. There's some debate on whether you should start with a vision or a mission. For me, I like to start with the mission. What is the core purpose of this company, and really taking the time to think through that answer in a very concise statement. And this is going to sort of lead into and help develop each individual step as you go through it. So from there, we move into our vision statement. So our vision statement is describe, what the company will become and achieve in the future. I would say, in the next 5 to 10 years, think big. Really put a stake in the ground as to what you want your company to become, and write that down in a statement. And we'll go through some examples here in a minute. The third step after you've kind of achieved both a mission and a vision is really taking the time to understand what core values are important to you as a company. And this is going to outline both your principles, your beliefs, your ethical standards that will help guide decisions, behaviors of not only yourself, but any employees, as you grow, the culture, which is critically important, especially as you start to scale for both employees and customers. And we'll go through some examples of some really good value statements, which then moves us into what I call the brand promise. So, what is a brand promise? It's really the promise your brand is making to stakeholders, meaning customers, employees, other people that have a stake in your company, and what that promise you're making when they experience your brand. And then last, and so that is a statement that you really have to kind of purposely create as part of this process. And then lastly is your customer experience statement, and that's ultimately to what degree do you deliver on your brand promise. And we'll go through some insights on that. So we're going to go through some examples just to kind of give you a flavor. Again, this is a micro learning, so we're not going to dive in too deeply. But here's Tesla, and we're going to talk about their mission statement. So again, if you recall, what is Tesla's core purpose as a company, and what they have come up with is to accelerate the world transition to sustainable energy. Awesome. And I think, if you kind of start to think about that, it's ambitious, it's bold, there's a deep purpose to it. I think there's an evolving scope. It's sort of leading us forward. It's a very future based statement, and I think it integrates into sort of their master plan of becoming more than just a car company, right? So again, just wanting to show you the importance of starting to define what is your mission statement. I think I'll share with you what the Hummingbird Hill mission statement is that we came up with personally, is to improve people's lives through the execution of inspiring design and its associated building, health, and environmental sciences. So I think there's some, if you break that apart a little bit, there's the execution of what we do. We're a construction firm. We build beautiful homes. And so that is always going to be first and foremost, is really that attention to detail, that craftsmanship, but also acknowledging that there are some different elements, including kind of the building health and environmental sciences that impact what we do. So, and ultimately, we bring that all together to improve people's lives. And this mission statement is presented to every potential client that I meet with. It's part of our culture at the company. It's communicated to our employees as well. So if we move on to sort of a vision statement, here's a good example is Patagonia. Again, a vision statement is what will your company become and achieve in the future. Obviously, this company is very focused on sustainability and the environment. So, of course, their vision statement is to build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. So, again, a very kind of succinct and purposeful vision statement. Here's some examples of some other well-known companies that I'm sure people are familiar with. Nike, to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. Disney, to be the world's leading producer and provider of entertainment and information, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a good opportunity for you to sort of begin to put that stake in the ground as to this is what my company is going to be, which then allows us to move into kind of assessing our values, our company values. What are you going to hold dear to, both as to yourself, but also when you're out there hiring employees and building your company and growing? You're going to use your value statement as a guideline as to making sure that you hire the right people that meet your brand. So again, your value statements is to outline your core principles, beliefs, and ethical standards. It will guide decisions, behavior, and your culture for both employees and customers. So this is Netflix as an example. Selflessness, judgment, candor, creativity, courage, impact, curiosity, passion, honesty. So if you're an employee of Netflix and you reach sort of a fork in the road and have to make a decision, you can refer back to kind of what is your value statements? What do you as a company value? And if someone has an idea and they're not sure if they should be sharing it, look at number four. You can refer to and say, we really respect and want to foster creativity as a company here. So it's an important part of this process. Moving on to brand promise, which again is the promise your brand is making to stakeholders when they experience your brand. I used Allstate, the insurance company, and their brand promise was you're in good hands. Short, sweet, very to the point, but I think says a lot about kind of what you expect when you're going to deal with Allstate. And then quickly moving on to the customer experience statement, which is to what degree do you deliver on your brand promise? I used Nordstrom as an example to serve our customers better, to always be relevant in their lives, and to form lifelong relationships. So again, there's a focus on longevity and relevance. It's talking about mapping out the various touch points your customers will have with your company, and I think that's a great exercise to do is really think through. Okay, here's where I intersect with clients in the business that I'm in. Try to take the time through your customer experience statement to understand what is the expectation that your customers have for those particular interactions or touch points, and then come up with a purposeful plan to exceed those expectations. This is kind of what the customer experience statement is about. Is ultimately, if you can have a customer walk away and have exceeded their expectations, you have just built a very loyal client who's going to refer other friends and family to you. This is how you grow businesses. So again, it's important that you go through that sequence that we talked about to begin to understand the foundation of your brand. This can be before you get into logos and colors and those types of things. If anything, I would recommend you go through this process before you get into those types of things, branding for trucks and site signage or whatever is in your particular field. I highly recommend going through that process, taking the time to really think through the answers to those five different steps before getting into kind of the more traditional marketing avenues. So, in conclusion, just to sort of wrap this up, define your purpose, your vision, your culture that you want to cultivate, the experiences that you want your customers, employees to have on a consistent basis, and then plan of action to ensure you deliver on that promise every time. So the intent of what we've gone through and the reason it's worthwhile going through this process, whether you're thinking about opening your own business one day or already own a business and are looking to better define and enhance your brand, is to again go through this step by step. Take the time to do it. I promise you, it will help you a lot just to kind of identify the direction, the brand, the culture that you want to create. And then once you've got that written out, the power of putting that onto paper is amazing. So I wish you well. Thank you for taking the brief amount of time here on this micro learning on branding. I thank Project Network. And as a final thought, I thought I'd mentioned Project Network's mission statement, which is to broaden our connections and continually enhance the capabilities of skilled tradespeople everywhere, which I think is a very noble cause. So thank you very much. Have an awesome day.